Welcome to the Thought Leader Show. I'm Major Sunil Shetty. The bilateral trade between India and the US is based on shared values and interest. There are growing and emerging opportunities for businesses on both sides. There are organizations that are helping businesses in both the countries through their various programs. One such organization is the FairFax County Economic Development Authority. To get an insight into work undertaken by the county, I have with me Juhi, who's the International Director Investments, who's also visiting India. Welcome Juhi, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Major Shetty. Thank you so much for having me.
So, tell me, how has been the travel and how has been your visit to India so far?
Well, it's always a pleasure to come back home is how I think of it. I've grown up here, so this is always going to be home for me, so always a pleasure to be in India. I started my trip in Delhi with quite a few meetings. This is my second stop in Hyderabad and I'm headed to Pune after this. So hectic, but it's fulfilling and I'm happy to be here.
And you're on a very important mission, isn't it?
That is correct, as always doing outreach for Fairfax County, Virginia.
So, for people who don't know much about the county, how do you define it? What do you say is important about the county that attracts businesses and entrepreneurs to your county?
Sure. So Fairfax County is a county in Northern Virginia, the state of Virginia, one of the 50 states of the United States, and Northern Virginia has close proximity to Washington, D.C. So Fairfax County has a very strategic location for business and for living. Which is one of its biggest appeals, I should say. In terms of a county in Virginia, it is the largest by population with a little over 1 million people. Not very large by Indian standards, but large nevertheless.
Nevertheless, yes.
Nevertheless, and it is also home to Tysons, which is the largest business district in the county. And why I mentioned Tysons is that you'll find a number of corporate headquarters located in that business district. So the appeal of the location is the proximity to Washington, D.C., which is the nation's capital and is also the largest customer in the world. At the same time, the business community and ecosystem and digital and physical infrastructure make it a desirable location to expand to and to grow as an organization.
Also, it is called as one of the best livable place for tech companies, isn't it?
That is correct. We did have actually an article published about what makes Fairfax County livable. And I'm also a Fairfax County resident. So not only do I work with businesses there, and we have many testimonials from businesses that have succeeded in Fairfax County, but also as a resident, I think there is an exceptional quality of life. It's a great place to grow your family. There are a number of amenities available and there's a lot of diversity in people and it's a highly educated population. So all things that maybe Hyderabad can relate to as well in terms of being a location that is appealing to people from all walks of life.
Somehow, somewhere I kind of relate and connect with Fairfax, which is Hyderabad was not known for, few years ago, was not on the map of investors, or business community. Today, it is there. It's an emerging, business center, startup hub. Similarly, when you talk about US, people in India do know about Silicon Valley. Is my understanding right? It's kind of now people are understanding, though it has been doing the right things, but people are start hearing about it now.
Certainly, and our organization is working very hard to make that happen in terms of getting our word out there and enhancing our branding and our messaging. So we are very well known in our region as pioneers in both economic development as well as business investment. I told you about the corporate headquarters. So fun fact that I'd like to share, in the DC metro area, which is the area that we belong to, there are 16 Fortune 500 companies. 9 of those 16 companies are in Fairfax County.
Fairfax.
So when it comes to our region, we're very well known and we're seen as leaders for the region. Internationally, we may be a little less known, and at least the Fairfax EDA India team has done a lot over the last 6 years to change that, and we're only feeling bullish and positive about it.
So apart from the geography that that is there, and also know that there are 3 major ports which are close to the county. What does the county offer to businesses, and in particular to the Indian businesses?
Certainly, Major. So, Fairfax County, our organization, which I would like to give a little introduction to what we do, our singular mission is to attract and retain business investment into Fairfax County. So this outreach that we're doing, the branding that I was talking about, is just one aspect of what we do. So Fairfax County EDA, or FCEDA, is an independent agency of the local government. And not only are we the marketing arm for business for the county, we also provide a range of services, all free and confidential, to businesses everywhere, including our resident businesses, to help them either expand or grow in Fairfax County. So when you talk about support, the single best support is the ecosystem and potential that we offer as a region with the companies, the big name tech companies that are already there, which are not only potential customers for other companies, but potential partners. So I'll give you an example. So AWS, Amazon Web Services, has been headquartered in Fairfax County since 2015. AWS, as you know, they offer cloud services. So AWS partners find it appealing to be located near AWS. So the ecosystem itself is the biggest incentive that we offer businesses. But to add to that, as an agency in support of our mission to attract and retain business investment, we offer, I like to call it 4 buckets or 5 buckets of services for businesses, and they vary depending on what stage you're in, whether you're a company just exploring where do you want to expand in the United States, or a company that has made the decision and would like to get plugged into the business community, or you're a seasoned company, you've been in Fairfax for 10 years and you're looking to grow. So we have something for everyone. Yeah. When it comes to new businesses, let's say you asked particularly about Indian companies. We often think of ourselves as the first point of contact to gather valid and reliable information to make your business decision. We want, of course, companies to invest in Fairfax County, to open up an office in Fairfax County and hire local people. But we also know that in order to do that, we need to make the right case, and it should work for the company. So we put our efforts in gathering market intelligence and presenting it to companies so that they can make an educated and informed decision about where they want to locate. We even go so far as to comparing ourselves. We can compare the state of Virginia in terms of taxes, cost of doing business, cost of employment, to, let's say, California. And then the company can decide, which one is better for them, their budget, what their needs are. That part is left to the company, but this is a huge benefit for them to get the information that they seek from a reliable source.
Okay.
So that's as far as new companies are concerned. And then when the company, let's say, chooses to come to Fairfax and they're looking to expand, one of the biggest concerns for any company is business development. How do we grow our business? How do we get known in this community? We do a lot of plugging in soft business landing services for those companies, introducing them to local chambers of commerce, telling them about events where they will find it beneficial to network, as and when required, making introductions so that the company eases into the business community. So those are some of the things.
So does it also include, because when you talk about US as a business destination, one of the federal business is one of the big things, right? Big areas. So how can Indian businesses benefit from, through your organization to get that connect when they're competing with the local businesses?
Sure, and Major Shetty, you said competing with, and I look at it differently. I look at it as technology begets technology. So emerging tech companies are the precursor to more emerging tech companies coming into the community. And the reason for that is that it offers the potential for partnerships. What you're calling competition, I'm calling as a potential to collaborate. Because there are different companies with different kinds of expertise, and they often find complementary services from another company in the same ecosystem, and together they're stronger. So we feel that The reason that our business community is so robust is because of that. The reason we are home to so many tech companies is from the time of AOL, when they decided to move to this region in the 80s, and look where we are now. So the companies tend to follow where there is potential, where there is opportunity, and we believe that we offer that.
So for any new company, especially when the foreign company trying to relocate or open new offices in a new place, there's cost involved, right? And even the size of investment becomes important. Is there any parameters or a base investment that you as a county want investors to come with, businesses to come with, and what kind of support do you provide? Because there is a cost. Is there a cost for your service?
So I'll take that one at a time. In terms of size of investment, we are completely agnostic. We don't care that the investment is a few $100,000 to a few $100 million. We welcome one and all. The kind of services that we provide are similar regardless of the size of investment. So in terms of the support provided, if you're looking at incentives in particular, because we're in the state of Virginia companies, once they're Virginia companies, have access to a number of those incentives that are available from the state. And we work very closely with our colleagues at Virginia Economic Development Partnership in order to bring relevant incentives to companies based on their size and type of investment. When it comes to smaller companies, they're looking to start lean. They say, we're not ready to have an office. We would, like to maybe have a co-working space. That's where our market intelligence and our data fact sheets come into the picture. We give them a list of alternate office spaces. You don't have to lease. You can take up this office with basic services, and as you grow, you can look to add services to that, or when you're ready, move on to leasing your own office. And when they are ready to lease, we actually do a search for them free of cost. You asked about, is there a cost?
Yeah.
There is no cost. That's one of the things that we take a lot of pride in. All of our services are free, and all of our services are universal in the sense that we don't discriminate based on size of investment.
That's really nice to know that. So one of the things that I found in my research was you have not changed, Fairfax County has not changed the income taxes for many years now. That's a big advantage, isn't it? And the certainty, is that something going to be there for long?
So, well, nobody can predict the future, but I will say this, and I'd just like to make a clarification. The tax is the state income tax. In the US, you have 3 levels, right? There's federal tax, there's state tax, and in many cases, a jurisdiction or county tax as well. And we have all 3 of those. So Virginia has not changed its corporate income tax since 1972, if my statistics are correct, and that has remained constant at 6%. In fact, if you look at the state of Virginia, a very recent accolade for us is that Site Selector magazine called it the #1 state for business, for business location. So we're very proud. We're also the top 5 states for ease of doing business. Like I said, I cannot predict whether it's going to be the same, but the fact that it hasn't changed since 1972 speaks volumes in itself. I think the more important thing is, and I can speak to Fairfax County, is that we have a very stable government, and that's important for a business as well. You're here in Hyderabad, we see regime changes in India. They do impact business and the bureaucracy of business. We have a very bipartisan board of supervisors that oversees the work of the county. And I'm saying bipartisan for a reason, that the government still remains stable and always in support of business. So this is why Virginia has its rankings as well, and we benefit from it too.
So is there any sector that as Fairfax County you're interested in, or they're sector agnostic when you're looking at businesses or investors to come into the county? And are there any specific areas you are looking from Indian businesses to come and set up shop?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the reasons India is one of our key target markets is because we see a lot of synergy between what Indian businesses tech businesses are doing and what we have in Fairfax County as well. So when you talk about industries, information and communications technology is high up there for us. We are a very strong sector. We have 8,800 technology companies in Fairfax County. Cybersecurity is a very, very big cluster for us. In addition to that, emerging technologies, analytics, smart city technologies, IoT, artificial intelligence, drone technologies, space, aerospace and defense is a big sector for us, and life sciences. More specifically within life sciences, health IT is a big and upcoming sector for us. So that's where our focus lies. So you'll see that the common theme tends to be technology. And India is very strong in technology as well, which is why we come here and we frequent our visits to India and our outreach to India, because we think that Indian companies have a lot to gain. They have a lot of potential if they choose to locate in Fairfax County. I have to mention something that kind of spans these industries or these skill sets that I just talked about, and that is government contracting. That's another area which is very strong for us. Fairfax County companies enjoy a good portion of federal contract dollars that come to our businesses, and that's definitely a strength for us. You were asking me earlier about working with the federal government. So here is where partnerships are key, because as a foreign company, it's not easy to do business with the US federal government. It's nearly impossible. But if you do have a local partner, it starts to make sense both for them and for you. So those are some of the areas that we try to focus on. We're more focused on the knowledge and technology-based businesses, IT products. We have a number of IT services companies as well, but product companies are those that will benefit the most from coming to Fairfax County. But it's not like we screen people. Everyone is welcome.
So the other thing that I want to bring here is India is, post-COVID, India is seen as the pharmacy of the world, right? And we are sitting in Hyderabad. This is within India. This is the hub for biotechnology and pharmacy. Is there any interest to have collaborations, both in terms of investments, companies setting up shop in your county, in the biotechnology space, pharmacy biotechnology?
Absolutely, biotechnology more than pharmacy. But since you brought it up, I'm so proud to say this, that we are in Hyderabad, and one of the biggest pharma companies here is Granules India Limited, which we had the good fortune of touring yesterday. We toured their Gagilapalli facility, which is the largest in the country. And I'm so pleased to say that Granules has only one manufacturing operation outside of India, and that is in Chantilly, Virginia, which is in Fairfax County. So yes, the fact that Granules chose to come to Fairfax is a testament to that industry. But I will say that we have more room for biotech companies, research and development in pharma and biotech rather than manufacturing, right? So we have a lot of potential there because of the presence of many higher education institutions in our vicinity, which offer you that pipeline of talent and research faculty that you might need to collaborate with, as well as the ecosystem. We are in close proximity to DC, but then Virginia, other places in Virginia and West Virginia where there are pharmaceutical companies, as well as Maryland, which has a big life sciences hub. So it makes sense for companies in that industry.
So in the initiative, is there anything for collaborating between Indian talent and county talent when it comes to biotechnology and other spaces? Why I ask this, Indian students have been one of the big, economy and who've been coming to the US. So Hyderabad has multiple organizations like CCMB, NIPER, where the talent is there for biotechnology. So is there a thought, or going forward there could be a possibility of talent exchange, collaboration at the university level, schools levels?
It sounds like a very fantastic idea, because again it's about synergies. But when it comes to making that collaboration, I would leave it to the universities on either side, and we'll be happy to get them together across the table to have that discussion, but it's really at their discretion. This is not something we can facilitate because the universities have their own mandates and their own processes, so we leave it to them, but it's a wonderful idea.
So now My Server TV is a channel for startups, and I have to ask this question. So what can Indian startups expect from FairFax Conti in terms of support? Is there anything that you are rolling out for startups?
So like I mentioned before, we are agnostic of any and every company. We support companies with what they need based on what we can provide them, regardless of how big or small they are. When it comes to startups, I just said a little while ago that companies want to start lean. They may be a 1 or 2 person operation to start with. What I do feel is that getting that in Indian language it would be domicile, getting that legal entity in, let's say, Virginia already becomes a benefit. It's not a difficult process, but once you do choose to expand, you get access to a lot of resources that are available to domicile companies like Virginia companies. So while we don't offer these from our side, we connect our startups to a number of grants and funding opportunities that are available in our ecosystem. I'll give you an example. The Virginia Innovation Partnership Corporation, it's a state-funded entity, and they fund businesses. They provide gap funding from idea stage to commercialization and then moving forward. So those are the opportunities you can only avail of if you are a Virginia business, right? So having the startup set up operations is perhaps not a difficult job, but we are more than happy to do hand-holding once they're there to introduce them to these opportunities where they can get funding from venture capitalists to angels to traditional funding from banks and the whole gamut, so to speak.
And what do you have to say for people who would say expensive city to be in or a country to be in?
So I guess expensive is a relative term. When you look at the total sum of the quality of life, the amount of opportunity, and the income potential in Fairfax County, it just makes sense. I mean, Hyderabad is not a cheap place. Delhi is not a cheap place. So the reasons for that are obvious. People there, yes, you may say it's expensive, but then their earnings are commensurate with those expenses, right? So it all goes hand in hand. I told you I'm a Fairfax County resident, right? So I have 2 kids, and they went through the public school system. One is still in school, which, as you know, because you have experience here, public schools are free in the United States. And Fairfax County Public Schools is a nationally ranked school system. The number 1 STEM school in the United States is in Fairfax County. It's the Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology, and it's a public school. They have state-of-the-art labs, and all their amenities are free because it's run by the government. So when you look at what there is that the county has to offer its residents, whether it's the schooling, like I said, the access to higher education institutions, recreation, right? Whether you're talking about parks or
the infrastructure.
Yeah, the gardens, you're talking about museums, you're talking about cultural exposure, you're talking about diversity. It literally, we actually have a saying that Fairfax County has it all. And so it completely justifies the cost of living in the county.
Finally, you have offices globally. There is one office for you in Bangalore also. Any scope in future to have a permanent office in Hyderabad?
So our offices are by country, and we chose Bangalore because it's a tech hub of India, and it made most sense for us. In fact, we have small operations in Mumbai as well, but the focus remains Bangalore. The point is that the Bangalore office is not just to cater to Bangalore companies. So the whole point of having a local person from Fairfax County EDA in India is so that they can serve the whole market. So they're not restricted to Bangalore companies. We have 4 other overseas offices. Our office for Europe is in Berlin, in Germany, but they handle all of Europe. Our office for the UK is in London. Our office for Asia is in South Korea, but they handle all of Asia. So we have to be mindful of maintaining, the cost impact of having these offices, and at the same time maximizing our services and outreach. So there isn't a firm plan in the near future, but if we see an influx of investment coming from India, who knows? Hyderabad might be the next place to be. We know it's happening already.
Well, we wish you all the best. Thank you, Juhi. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank you, Major Shetty. It's been an awesome pleasure to be here.
Thank you.